Hey everyone, and welcome back to Motivation Library on YouTube. Today we're diving deep into a book that's been changing lives for decades.
The Power of Awareness.
By Neville Goddard.
Neville Goddard. Now, there's a name that really makes you think.
It does.
Doesn't it?
Ah.
He started as a vaudeville dancer, but then devoted his life to unlocking the secrets of the mind.
Yeah.
And you know how we create our realities?
I know, when I first heard that, I thought vaudeville to metaphysics.
Right.
What a leap. But then I thought maybe the showmanship translates, to make these sometimes dense ideas really click.
Perhaps. And click, they do.
Yeah.
The power of awareness is all about understanding that incredible power we have within to manifest our desires and to transform our lives.
And for our deep dive today, we are going to unpack some of Neville's most powerful concepts.
Okay.
Starting with the idea that creation is already finished.
Yes. Think of it this way. Everything you could ever want, every experience, every possibility already exists.
So it's not about creating something new, but rather becoming aware of what's already there.
Precisely. Neville believed that our consciousness is like a radio dial.
Okay.
All the stations are broadcasting, but you have to tune in to the frequency you want to experience.
That's a great analogy.
Yeah.
Makes me think about all the times I've focused on what I don't want.
Right.
And probably tuned right into that frequency instead.
It happens to all of us.
Yeah.
But that's where the power of assumptions comes in. Neville says that our assumptions, not the facts, shape our reality.
So if we're constantly assuming the worst, we're more likely to experience it.
Yeah.
That's a bit daunting.
It is. But the flip side is empowering.
Okay.
If we can consciously choose our assumptions and focus on what we want, we can literally change the course of our lives. He uses this great metaphor of our consciousness being like a magnet.
I remember that one. The substance of the magnet stays the same, but the arrangement of its molecules determines its power.
Exactly. And our assumptions are like those molecules. They create a magnetic field that attracts corresponding experiences.
Okay, so how do we apply this in a practical way? Let's say I'm looking for a new job.
Neville would say, start by assuming you already have it.
Okay.
Instead of dwelling on the lack of a job, focus on the feeling of having the perfect job, the excitement of going to work each day, the satisfaction of using your skills.
It's about shifting our internal state to match the reality we want to experience.
Exactly. And that's where Neville's concept of I am comes in.
Oh, I am.
It's the foundation of his teachings.
Yeah.
And it's more than just acknowledging your existence.
Yeah, I can already tell there's some depth to this. I am sounds simple.
Yeah.
But I bet it goes much deeper than that.
Absolutely. I am is the fundamental awareness of being the core of your consciousness.
Okay.
It's constant, unchanging,
Right.
regardless of your circumstances.
Right.
And the key is whatever you attach to I am becomes your reality.
So if I say I am successful, I'm aligning my being with that state of success.
Precisely. And the more you embody that feeling of success, the more you'll attract experiences that reflect it. It's like you're broadcasting that frequency out into the universe.
Yeah.
And the universe is responding in kind.
This is starting to feel very powerful.
It is.
But how do we cultivate that deep sense of I am and align it with our desires?
That's where the imagination comes in. Neville believed that our imagination is the most powerful tool we have for shaping our reality. But it's not just about daydreaming.
Right. It has to be more deliberate than that.
It's about consciously using your imagination to create a vivid, detailed mental picture of your desired state and feeling it as if it's already real.
I'm getting the sense that feeling is a key part of this whole process.
Absolutely. Neville said feeling is the secret.
Oh, wow.
And he meant it. You have to embody the feeling of the wish fulfilled.
Okay.
The more real it feels, the faster it will manifest in your experience.
It's not just about thinking about it. It's about feeling it with every fiber of your being.
Exactly. And this isn't a one-time thing.
Right.
You have to practice it consistently, almost like an athlete training for a big competition.
Yeah.
The more you work those imagination muscles, the stronger and more effective they become.
This is heavy stuff, but it's also incredibly exciting. It's like we're being given the keys to the kingdom, but it's up to us to use them wisely.
I love that analogy.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to remember that Neville's teachings are about so much more than manifesting material things.
Right.
It's about transforming our entire lives, becoming the best versions of ourselves, and aligning with our true purpose.
Well, I'm definitely ready to learn more about how to do just that.
Good.
I'm already feeling my perspective shifting as we talk.
That's the beauty of Neville's work.
Yeah?
It challenges our conventional understanding of reality and opens up a whole new world of possibilities.
So we've covered the power of assumptions and how they're linked to the I am. We've also touched on the role of imagination and feeling and making those assumptions real. Where do we go from here?
Now that we understand how our consciousness shapes our reality, we need to explore how to master that consciousness,
Okay.
how to use it to create the life we truly desire.
That sounds like a great place to start part 2.
It is. And I think our listeners will be amazed by what Neville has to say about the power of the subconscious mind and the role of surrender in manifestation.
All right, so we're back.
Yes.
And ready to dive deeper into the world of Neville Goddard and the power of awareness. You were just about to tell us about the power of the subconscious mind.
Right. Neville believed that the subconscious mind is incredibly powerful,
Okay.
but it doesn't always distinguish between what's real and what's imagined.
So if we can convince our subconscious that our desires are already real,
Yeah.
they're more likely to manifest in our physical reality.
Exactly. It's not enough to just think about what we want.
Right.
We need to impress it upon our subconscious mind.
Okay.
And one of the best ways to do that is through what Neville called the imaginal act.
The imaginal act.
Yes.
That sounds intriguing.
It is.
What exactly does that involve?
It's about creating a scene in your imagination that implies the fulfillment of your desire. You don't need to visualize every detail of the journey, just the end result, the moment you're experiencing your wish fulfilled.
So if I wanted to manifest a new car, I wouldn't necessarily visualize myself going to the dealership, negotiating a price,
Right.
or signing paperwork. I just imagine myself driving the car, feeling the excitement of owning it.
Precisely. And the key is to make it sensory rich. Imagine the feeling of the leather seats,
Okay.
the smell of the new car, the sound of the engine.
Yeah.
The more real you make it in your imagination, the more you'll impress it upon your subconscious.
It's almost like tricking our minds into believing it's already happened.
In a way, yes.
Yeah.
But it's more than just a trick. It's about aligning our inner world
Okay.
with the outer world we want to experience.
And that alignment, that feeling of it already being real is what triggers the manifestation process.
Exactly. Neville was adamant that feeling is the secret.
Yeah.
The stronger the feeling, the faster the manifestation.
So we've got to feel it with every fiber of our being.
Yes.
But what about action? Do we just sit back and wait for things to magically appear?
That's a common misconception about Neville's teachings.
Okay.
He actually emphasized the importance of action,
Okay.
but it's not the kind of action we typically think of.
Okay. I'm intrigued. What kind of action are we talking about?
He called it the action of assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled.
Okay.
It's an inner action,
Okay.
a mental and emotional commitment to the reality we want to experience.
So it's less about hustling and grinding in the physical world and more about aligning our inner world with our desired reality.
Exactly. It's about becoming the person who already has what we desire.
Okay.
It's about embodying the feeling of success, abundance, or whatever it is we're seeking.
I'm starting to see how this all ties together. We use our imagination to create the scene.
Yes.
We feel it as if it's real.
Yeah.
And that feeling, that interaction, is what sets the wheels in motion.
You got it. But there's another crucial element Neville talked about. Surrender.
Surrender.
Yeah.
That sounds a bit passive, especially after all this talk about action.
It might seem that way, but surrender is actually an act of faith.
Okay.
It's about trusting the process.
Okay.
Trusting that the universe will orchestrate the details once we've set the intention and aligned our inner state.
So it's about letting go of control
Yeah.
and allowing things to unfold naturally.
Exactly. It's about releasing the need to micromanage the process
Oh.
and trusting that the universe will deliver our desires in the perfect way and at the perfect time.
This concept of surrender resonates with me. I think a lot of us try to force things to happen instead of allowing them to unfold organically.
Absolutely. We get caught up in the how and forget about the why.
Right.
But Neville reminds us that creation is finished.
Yeah.
Everything we could ever want already exists.
Yeah.
Our job is to simply align ourselves with it.
And that alignment comes through our assumptions, our feelings, and our willingness to surrender to the process.
You're getting it. It's a beautiful dance between intention and surrender action and allowing.
Okay, so we've talked about the power of the subconscious mind, imaginal act,
Yes.
and the importance of surrender. Is there anything else we need to know to truly master this process?
Neville also talks about the importance of persistence and revisiting the feeling of the wish fulfilled until it becomes natural.
Okay.
He uses the term naturalness to describe the state
Okay.
where our desire feels so real, so much a part of us
Yeah.
that we no longer doubt it.
That makes sense. It's like anything else we want to master.
Yeah.
It takes practice
Yes.
and repetition.
Exactly. And that's where the real magic happens.
Yeah.
When we reach that state of naturalness, our desires manifest effortlessly, almost as if by magic.
So it's about training our minds and emotions to align with our desires until it becomes second nature.
Precisely. And one of the best ways to do that is to practice what Neville called revision.
Revision?
Yes.
Tell me more about that.
It's a technique where you go back over the events of the day
Okay.
and mentally revise any moments that didn't go the way you wanted.
So if I had a frustrating interaction with someone, I could go back and imagine it going differently, more positive.
Exactly. But the key is to do it with feeling.
Okay.
You have to truly feel the relief, the joy, the satisfaction of the revised scene.
It's almost like we're reprogramming our subconscious mind
Yes.
with more positive experiences.
Exactly. And by consistently revising our past,
Yeah.
we're also changing our future.
Oh, wow.
We're creating a new blueprint for our reality,
Okay.
one that's filled with more joy, abundance, and fulfillment.
This is so powerful.
Yeah.
I'm starting to see how all of these concepts work together to create a truly transformative process.
It is powerful. And I think it's important to remember that Neville's teachings are not just about getting what we want.
Right.
They're about becoming who we truly are.
You're right. It's about aligning with our highest potential and creating a life that reflects our true essence.
And that's a journey worth taking.
It is.
But we've only just scratched the surface of what Neville has to offer. In part 3, we'll explore some of his most profound concepts,
Okay.
including the crown of the mysteries, and how they can help us unlock even greater levels of freedom and fulfillment.
Welcome back to part 3 of our deep dive into Neville Goddard's The Power of Awareness. We've covered some incredibly powerful concepts already. I'm really eager to hear about this crown of the mysteries you mentioned.
It's one of Neville's most profound teachings, and it really gets to the heart of how we create our reality. It all starts with the idea that creation is finished. Remember, everything we could ever want already exists.
Right, we're not creating something new, we're just becoming aware of what's already there.
Exactly. And the crown of the mysteries is about understanding how we move from unawareness to awareness, how we manifest those desires into our experience.
Okay, I'm all ears. Walk me through this.
Okay, so it starts with an idea. Neville called this the Immaculate Conception. It's the birth of a desire in our consciousness.
So that spark of inspiration, that moment we say, I want this, that's the Immaculate Conception.
Precisely. But it's just the beginning. The next step is the assumption. This is where we mentally enter the state of the wish fulfilled. We imagine ourselves experiencing our desire as if it's already real.
We've talked about the importance of feeling, so I'm guessing feeling is a big part of this assumption step.
Absolutely. It's not enough to just intellectually acknowledge our desire we have, to feel it, embody it, believe it with every fiber of our being.
And that's when the magic starts to happen.
Exactly. Neville believed that when we truly assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled, we become one with it. We're no longer separate from our desire, we are the desire.
This is starting to feel a bit mystical.
It is. Neville drew a lot of inspiration from the Bible and other mystical traditions, but he also emphasized that this is a natural process, a law of consciousness that anyone can learn to use.
So we have the idea, the Immaculate Conception, and then we assume the feeling of the wish fulfilled the assumption. What happens next?
The final step is what Neville called the birth. This is when our desire manifests in our physical reality.
And this all happens because we've aligned our consciousness with the reality we want to experience.
Precisely. By assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled, we've bridged the gap between the unseen and the seen. We've become a vibrational match for our desire, and the universe has no choice but to deliver it.
This crown of the mysteries really ties everything together. It's a powerful framework for understanding how our consciousness creates our reality.
It is, and it's something we can apply to any area of our lives, not just material desires. We can use it to manifest better health, stronger relationships, greater creativity, or anything else we set our minds to.
This whole conversation has been so enlightening. I feel like I have a new understanding of how much power I have to shape my own life.
That's the beauty of Neville's work. It's empowering. It reminds us that we are not victims of circumstance, but creators of our reality.
And we create that reality through our thoughts, our feelings, and our assumptions.
Exactly. And by consciously choosing our assumptions, We can literally change the course of our lives.
I think a lot of people struggle with the idea that they have this much power. It can be scary to think that we're responsible for everything that happens to us.
I understand that. It's a big responsibility, but it's also a gift. It means we're not at the mercy of fate. We have the power to create the life we truly desire.
This has been an incredibly deep dive into the power of awareness. I feel like I've gained so much from our conversation. Any final thoughts for our listeners?
I would just encourage everyone to explore Neville's work for themselves. It's truly transformative. And remember, the power to create your reality lies within you.
If you enjoyed this deep dive, please hit that like button and subscribe to Motivation Library for more life-changing content. We'll be back next week with another insightful book summary, so stay tuned. Until then, keep those assumptions high, and remember, you have the power to create the life of your dreams.